Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to do May's Plan with me, and this month's theme is all things baking. Out of the 4 years I've been bullet journaling now, I have never used colored pencils in my bullet journal, but that changes today. I'm mostly using Prismacolor colored pencils for this entire theme with the occasional pen or black fine liner, and I actually decided this very last minute. I had all of my markers all ready to go next to me, and then right as I sat down, I thought colored pencils would actually give the look I was going for better, and it absolutely did. I love how it makes everything look a lot more doodly, in my opinion, and really soft. May has always screamed delicate to me, if that makes sense. So I find that oftentimes I do go for a soft and bright theme. So you'll definitely be seeing a lot of different colors throughout this theme, which is really fun. And for some reason, it doesn't overwhelm me as much when I'm using colored pencils versus markers. As you can see, I went with this cursive, sort of bouncy calligraphy because that reminds me of letter piping, which leads me to my other last minute idea, which was drawing a piping bag and attaching it to the Y in May, making it look like the letters are made out of frosting. And another first for my journal, I wanted to draw a bunch of little doodles around my title. I wanted it to look very illustrative and cutesy, and again, I think the colored pencils really helped bring that vision to life. So yeah, I'm just drawing a bunch of different things relating to baking in a circle, whether it's a treat, something sweet, something you'd find in the kitchen, or a tool used to bake. You'll notice that I'm not using a fine liner around these doodles, again, to give it a softer look and less of a cartoony look. Instead, I'm just pressing harder or going over the border a few times with the same colored pencil I'm using to color to give it more definition while still being soft. This is a trick I do with markers too that I have been loving doing lately. It just gives a whole different look, in my opinion. On the quote page, you may have caught that it was actually blank with no sketches at the beginning of this video, and that's because I thought I was going to tape on one of my own recipe cards, but it honestly didn't match the vibe of the title page, and it also didn't fit, so I would have had to be looking at it vertically, and it just wasn't it. So I decided to make a really simple recipe card myself to achieve this idea I had of doing a self-care recipe. I'm actually a little bugged because it was supposed to be a self-love recipe.
I just think I have.
I messed up.
Sorry. Moving up this thing.
Shoot. It's supposed to say self-love and I said self-care. I said self-care.
Sorry.
Should I do self-care? Whatever. Self-care is fine. Self-care is fine. And by a little bugged, I mean a lot bugged, clearly. But yeah, I got over myself and realized they pretty much mean the same thing. Anyway, this is definitely one of my cheesier ideas, listing necessities for loving myself, along with as many units of measurement or baking terms I could think of. And then just writing that the directions are to mix it all together, take deep breaths, close your eyes, and take it in. I just realized I haven't mentioned yet that, I don't bake. I am literally just doing this for aesthetics, so although I think it'd be cute to put like an actual recipe that I love, it would honestly be inauthentic, and this self-care recipe is way more me. Here you see me playing around with washi tape placement forever. I truly do wish I cared about other more important things as much as I care about where my washi tape is going. Like, I spent a ridiculous amount of time on this, but I actually really like this combination of the silver polka dots and purple blueberries I went with. I can't think of a much better time to use this blueberry tape. I think I got both of these at Kinokuniya, by the way. And I have a ton of stickers that are relating to desserts, so I'll for sure be using more later in this theme, but for now I went with this blueberry roll to match the blueberry tape. For the habit tracker, I'm going in with that same lettering from earlier to write habits. This was a bit of an annoying month because the 31st is on a Sunday, which means I technically had to leave room for 6 horizontal rows per mini calendar, which felt like it kind of limited what I could draw. I had to scrap my original idea because of this after I sketched it all out and everything, but it's okay because I ended up doing it on my gratitude spread, which you'll see soon. I went with this smaller illustration of a dessert tier stand with a bunch of little treats on it. I think it turned out really cute, but it was definitely tedious to do. My biggest complaint with using colored pencils is that I'm someone who really likes to use my pencil sketches as my guide, and I have to erase most of the sketch before using the colored pencil so that I don't erase the colored pencil. So I do think you're seeing more of my head than usual because I have to get close to look at my guide. And this was just a little trickier to work with considering I'm still learning how to draw, but I don't regret using colored pencils at all. I think a whole theme of colored pencils was long overdue, and this was a great theme to explore that. But yeah, this part my guide was really needed, so that was a little harder, and I had to make the tier stand pretty small already, so making the tiny treats on top of it with the colored pencil was slightly challenging too. I feel like colored pencils aren't really made for these tiny of designs, but we made it work. I had kind of an awkward amount of room at the bottom after doing my mini calendars, so I put my washi tape there to fill up space, and honestly, that's all that I added. Maybe I'll go back and see if any stickers make sense next to the habits title, but I was a little nervous it would be too much, so I kept it as is for now. Next is the mood tracker, so here's the same lettering I've been doing to write moods. And I'm excited for this month because I'll be using different colors to track my mood by coloring in cookie elements. So I'm drawing a big tray of different cookies, and the various moods will be things like sprinkles or chocolate chips or jelly, flavoring, frosting, things like that. For a lot of these elements, I drew the outline of where I'd be coloring with a light brown. I was trying to be gentle with it because I want my mood colors to obviously be the main thing you see, but I didn't want to forget what my idea was with some of these cookies as the month goes on. So the light brown is temporary for now and just meant as a guide. Here I am again, spending way too much time on the washi tape placement, and honestly, even after all that, I'm not entirely sold on this placement. But unlike the habit tracker, I actually did think some of that blank space needed to be filled for this page because there's less going on overall. So I just put tape on both sides of the page. Next is my gratitude spread, but look at this. I apparently pushed so hard on my tray and my mood tracker that I could see the outline of it on this page. I didn't realize I was pushing that intensely, I was so mad, but anyway. Going in with the same lettering to write gratitude and numbering 1 through 31, where I'll write one thing I'm grateful for every day this month. And now you get to see what I was going to do with the habits page, which was draw that retro pink cherry cake that I feel like you kind of see everywhere now, but it's so cute. If I can, I like to write I'm grateful for ... underneath my gratitude title because I usually just write next to a number something like my bed so that it's completing that statement, I'm grateful for my bed. But I didn't have enough room to do that this time because I wanted to keep the gratitude lettering the same size that I did with the habits and moods lettering. So I actually decided to make that the piping on the cake, and now I think it ended up being perfect for this page specifically. Lastly, I made another cheesy quote page, but I love how it turned out so much. As I was looking on Pinterest for inspiration, I saw a lot of jams that people drew and labeled something like "You're my jam" on it, which is very cute, but obviously doesn't make sense in my journal. And then I ended up finding a ton of "reading is my jam" quotes. And then I was like, wait, I'm just gonna change this to say journaling is my jam. Because I didn't add washi tape to my gratitude spread, I knew I wanted to add some to this page, so I decided to make my journaling jam more of a blueberry vibe to match my blueberry tape. But for the actual color of the jar, I went with this kind of golden color because I knew it'd look good with the blue purple vibe the tape gives, and I knew I was going to go with a blue lid on the jar. I also drew some loose blueberries next to the jar to tie it all together. I normally don't love doing cheesy quotes, and this one is definitely pushing it for me, but I don't know, there's something about that journaling jam alliteration that I think is so cute. Here is the final flip through of May's baking theme. I love how this theme feels like a perfect mix of elegant and fun, and it honestly really reminds me of spring, which makes me happy. I really hope you liked it too. Make sure to follow me on all my socials if you want to see more. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!